more bull crap about Bad Bunny. Oh, it just gets worse. Feds are surrounded and the cops are told not to do anything about it. This is nuts. And being insanely stupid, is that a Democrat strategy? Apparently so. Welcome to the Sheldon Show, and happy Monday. Good morning, Marilyn and Danny popping into the live stream. We are live on Rumble and we're live on X. And if you would be so kind, whether you're watching us live or you are watching on the replay, just hit that follow button, please. Appreciate it. You can give us a thumbs up too. We like that. So by all means, thank you. We got a lot going on. Oh man, I'm telling you. It was a busy weekend, and not the least of which is this idiot Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl halftime show. By the way, excuse me, I've seen a lot of people coming up with ideas to do an alternative halftime show, some Christian-based, some not, but brilliant ideas and not a bad one at all. I think we ought to pursue that. I know if there is one, I will be there watching. I will not be watching Bad Bunny. But I don't watch football. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I could give a fat rat's ass less about any of it. So it doesn't really affect me anyway. But why Bad Bunny's ice antics make him a very poor fit for America's game. The Super Bowl halftime show has, for a long time now, been a lot more than just a pause in the game. It often reflects the cultural mood of the country at that moment. Millions are drawn into this entertainment, symbolism, all that crap. You remember the whole Janet Jackson and the boob exposure event. Wasn't that Super Bowl a halftime show? I think so. The NFL's choice for Bad Bunny for Super Bowl, what is that, LX? I don't know, in 2026 at the Levi Stadium, no exception. His reggaeton style energizes the whole event, renews all the talk about performers' public statements that go beyond just performing and playing music, particularly when those statements involve pointed disdain, the absolute hatred of Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE. Bad Bunny's talents, kind of undeniable. He fills arenas worldwide. I'll be honest with you, I'm not connected with this whole culture, but until they announced this Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl, I never heard of the guy. Ever. He's filled arenas. He's got multiple Grammy Awards. He's helped bring Puerto Rican rhythms to global pop culture. He's ventured into professional wrestling. Prominence alone does not guarantee a smooth reception at an event with the kind of visibility you get at the Super Bowl. His remarks about ICE recently bring even more attention to him. A recent ID magazine interview, Bad Bunny said he avoided some U.S. tour dates out of concern that ICE agents might target the shows, framing it as a precaution against government overreach. Go back to June. There's a video evidence of the singer filming what he identified as ICE vehicles during operations in Carolina, Puerto Rico. His on-camera reaction, completely unfiltered, he says, quote, "These mother effers are in these cars. Son of a bee. Instead of leaving the people alone and working there." This kind of language may pass as just a personal rant, but it crosses into territory that politicizes law enforcement in ways the Super Bowl, of all venues, of all things, the Super Bowl should be avoiding these things. But instead, they jump right into the middle of it. Fan response, been very swift, very telling. social media erupted with complaints about the selected halftime entertainment. Everyday Americans who view ICE not as antagonists, but as essential guardians of absolute, unchecked immigration. Some guy, who is this guy? Major Tour 999. Madge Tour 999. Before whining that Bad Bunny is the 2026 Super Bowl time act, remember, we're supposed to be boycotting the NFL. There is more important stuff to focus on. We don't mix politics with sports. Entertainers are not leaders. Makes perfect sense to me. All these social media posts range from satirical jabs, one viral threat questioning why the league would amplify voices that undermine our border as events sell out ad slots. No poll is needed to gauge this divide. It is rather obvious. Grumbles from sports bars to online forums. Not a mere cultural clash, it is a reminder that the Super Bowl thrives on appeal, not niche provocations. Now, critics frame this as a matter of free speech. Fair enough. Bad Bunny can voice his grievances from festival stages or streaming sets, no issue. But the NFL operates in a different league. They broadcast and they weave in military honors, national anthems, tributes that evoke all of our unity under one flag. Past controversies from kneeling protests to wardrobe malfunctions, there's the Janet Jackson angle. Language that halftime risks becoming a lightning rod. Spotlighting an artist who casts federal officers as villains in an immigration narrative just invites friction. It turns a moment of what's supposed to be escape into another front in culture wars. Days after the announcement, Bad Bunny teased a single U.S. appearance after team deliberations now revealed as the Super Bowl itself. The NFL could turn to artists who honor America's diversity without eroding its foundations. Think Post Malone's gender-bending anthems, Carrie Underwood's heartfelt country, 50 Cent's high-energy hits, Rally Without Rebuke, or seek fusion talents who connect divides rather than widen them. These kind of choices would preserve the magic of the halftime show. America's premier sporting event merits a show that reflects all of us, not just one side or the other. Bad Bunny's light apparently burns very bright, but not every flame suits football's central stage. And that is exactly what this is with the Super Bowl. Keep the spectacle above the fray. And they're not doing that. They don't care to do that. This is going to continue to be an issue right up until showtime, and probably long after. Danny, am I just messed up from this sinus infection, or is the chat different? It's dark. Hopefully they fixed the... I have no idea. It looks the same to me. She says, my chat is black, and I thought it used to be white. Mine is white with black text. Mine is. Maybe it's been this way and the sinus infection is just messing up my head. Did you change something to dark mode or something? That's odd. I have no idea. Very weird. I got such random stuff that I didn't put this list together in any particular order. It's all weird, but here we go again. No way, yet another bearded lady busted for attacking kids. To the shock of absolutely no one paying attention, yet another trans person has been busted molesting kids. The victims, 14 and 15 years old, according to Charlotte Mecklenburg Police in North Carolina. Lee Dwayne Darrell Tate, who is 48 years old, despite his 5 o'clock shadow and tragically misshaven eyebrows, he prefers the moniker Miss Sharon. Well, he was arrested last week and charged with 6 counts of indecent liberties with a minor, 1 count of statutory sex offense, and 2 charges of statutory rape. So far, 4 victims have been identified, and police believe there could be more. Here is Miss Sharon. A male bus driver. Ain't she lovely? Here's the kicker. Tate's a school bus driver for the Sugar Creek Charter School in Charlotte, North Carolina, which gives him access to dozens of potential victims. Now, police don't believe any of these sexual assaults occurred on school grounds or on the bus. A parent called the police after having reason to believe her son was assaulted by Tate. Police raid on Tate's home revealed he had several teens living with him. One of the teens claimed Tate had offered money for sex. He was suspended from his job during the police investigation, has since been fired. His family believes he's 5'7", 210-pound lady hobbit, whatever the hell that is. And they believe he's innocent, of course. Neighbors aren't so sure. The question is, will Tate's family pony up mad stacks to get him released? He now sits in jail on a $1 million bond. Now, you may be asking, how the hell did this freak, a trans pedophile, get so close to kids? Now, for starters, Operation Mockingbird media mad puppies partially to blame. Local Charlotte news outlet, WCBD, repeatedly bends the knee to the woke culture, refers to this salad-dodging, kitty-diddling miscreant as she and her. The more articles you read, the more bourbon and cigars your pal KDJ gets to enjoy. I don't care how you lead your life. I don't care what you want to do with your body and your life until it starts to affect other people, and especially when it starts to affect our children. That is a red line you may not cross. Especially kids and the elderly. I truly do not care how you want to live your life. Go ahead. But I have a swift sword of vengeance against those who victimize special needs people. The real question is, how many kids have to be sexually assaulted by these ladyboys before this country wakes up to the reality that out of proportion trans-on-children crimes and savagery will not stop until we stop it? How do you fight this culture that promotes these transgender attacks on kids? Absolutely insane. He's been arrested, he's due in court, and we shall see how this freak, Ms. Sharon, winds up. But the fact that he had access to those kids anyway is beyond belief. Absolutely beyond belief. Danny says, no way, I'd be driving my kids for sure. I know we're not supposed to judge. Try looks, but just looking at him gives me the heebie-jeebies. It gives me the heebie-jeebies too. Big time. Big time. Scary stuff. You want more scary stuff? Oh, I got some for you. How about this? Chicago cops were told not to respond when federal agents were surrounded. We have reached a very dangerous spot in this country. Dangerous rhetoric used by local political operatives in Illinois, and it has taken a major turn for the worse. A CPD, Chicago Police Department Chief of Patrol, instructed his police officers not to respond when ICE and Border Patrol agents asked for help because they were under attack following a shooting. This type of order virtually never comes from local precinct cops. That order comes from local politicians. Either the mayor, possibly the governor, would have given such an order as do not respond. But multiple law enforcement agencies have confirmed that Chicago police officers were instructed by their chief of patrol not to respond to border control agents' plea for help yesterday when they were supposedly surrounded by a large group of protesters. We have the audio of a dispatch operator telling cops not to respond.
Okay. Any kind of particular hairstyle, just younger male Hispanic on foot wearing all black?
No hairstyle.
Okay, 10-4. And one is for the hit and run. This guy fled from the scene at 37th Place in Kedzie. It all started at I-55 in Kedzie. Then they fled southbound at Kedzie, where that offending vehicle crashed. They ran the federal agent off the road. They fled on foot westbound 37th Place from Kedzie. It was a male Hispanic younger wearing all black clothing. 99.
Yeah, send the cars in that direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
Okay, 10-4. And for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie per 999, if you guys can just, for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie, if you guys can start heading there as quick as you can, and then just hold tight for instructions with 999.
Hold tight for instructions. The chief of patrol who ordered this stand down is John Hine. This happened on Saturday. one of the highest ranking officers in the Chicago Police Department, barred city cops from responding to calls for help from federal agents who were surrounded by a huge group in Brighton Park on Saturday. That is according to the actual radio transmissions. Hine ordered city officers to leave the area after tensions escalated following the shooting of a woman by Border Patrol agents, supervisors said in recorded radio traffic. Now, you'll notice the order transmitted is at the end of the tape. Clear as day. Actively refusing to protect ICE and Border Patrol agents. CPD officers not allowed to respond to pleas for help and backup from federal agents. Politics has trumped common sense, pun intended. Politics has taken away all reason. It makes absolutely no sense at all. And there are plenty of precedent for this from every single one of these blue cities. Shortly after the George Floyd riots started in Minneapolis, cops were under orders from political hacks that their precinct was not to be protected. Cops ordered to allow felonies to occur. A lot of them escaped the 3rd precinct with nothing but their lives. What allows battery on ICE agents to happen? Well, it happens when local political officials allow it to happen. Criminals have free rein. Now in Chicago, ICE, Border Patrol being attacked. CPT instructed to stand down, and those instructions most assuredly came from political hacks. Remember, Governor Pritzker recently suggested ICE and Border Patrol were arresting innocent people. They are the bad guys, he said, not the illegal aliens. In fact, the man who was shot was an illegal alien named Silvario Villegas Gonzalez. He tried to run over an ICE officer with a car. That is attempted murder with a dangerous weapon. He was shot by the ICE agent. Now, had Chicago and the state not been sanctuaries for illegal aliens, he likely wouldn't have been so emboldened to try and flee. But he did. His family, of course, calls him kind and gentle. Apparently just not with ICE agents. They are ordered to stand down and not provide backup. And that comes from on high. No point in blaming the cops. They're following orders. Where do those orders come from? That's the important question that needs to be answered. Kedzie is a dangerous street. They need police terribly. When I worked at a patrol call center, they were always checking at Kedzie Street and housed all over that area. It needs cleaned up. From Danny there, somebody who actually has hands-on experience. Absolutely incredible. Did you hear about the New York cell service disruption? Ooh, it is a very interesting story, and we will tell you about it after we tell you about a company that believes in what you and I believe in. They are America's only Christian conservative cell service provider, and you need to make the switch. Do it today. Do it right now. I don't even care if you go away from the program. Go make the switch for yourself and then come on back. You got to do it because we have got to stop supporting these people who support the left. And the best way, one of the best ways of doing that is to get signed up with our partner, Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/Jay, J-A-Y. That's the link to use to go make the switch. Keep your phone, keep your number, keep your values. PatriotMobile.com/Jay. It is very easy to make the switch. Many of our viewers have done that and report back that everything went smoothly. It was great. They've got all kinds of great plans there to keep you on. If you are currently under contract, no worries. Head over to the site, check it out. They've got ways to arrange for you to get out of those contracts and make the switch. Very simple, very easy to do. And if you make the switch using our link, you get your first month free. Oh yeah, your first month is on me. We pay for it. PatriotMobile.com/J. Make the switch today. Although in New York, there's no guarantee that they're going to help you do this, but hey, when it blocks out, it blocks out. The New York cell service disruption plot apparently is a lot larger than anybody thought. Now, Red State, brilliant news site, on Friday reported what appeared to be a coordinated attempt to disrupt cell service in New York City, including service near the UN building. That attempt involved many thousands of subscriber identity modules, or SIM cards, set up in several hundred SIM servers. Now, I know, a bit confusing, but this is a very serious matter. It's not just interfering with Sam's ability to text his buddy Joe to meet up for beers. This has the potential to disrupt emergency services, business, navigation, more and more. What's more, a nation-state actor has been implicated. And that, hard to believe, what a surprise, is China. On Friday, Red State reported disrupting even a local network like in New York or the New York area has the potential to disrupt not only personal communications, but the media, business communications, emergency services, and government services. It's not clear how much damage could be done or how long-lasting it might be. But these SIM farms do not appear to have the capacity to physically damage cellular infrastructure, like an attack could have very far-reaching consequences. This particular instance took place in the vicinity of the United Nations building at the time of the General Assembly. And now, things are much worse than initial findings had indicated. Authorities found another SIM network Communist China is operating to disrupt critical infrastructure and enable criminal networks. HSI agents found 200,000 SIM cards in New Jersey, 2 times the 100,000 they found in New York. These SIM cards could send 30 million anonymous texts every minute. It's, you know what a DDoS attack is? Denial of service? Where a computer would constantly, or several computers, make hits on the same website, so much so that it basically shuts the site down. Well, the same thing can be done with these SIM cards. 200,000 in New Jersey, 100,000 in New York, capable of sending 30 million anonymous texts every 60 seconds, which would absolutely shut down your cell service. ABC News now reporting China-linked plot that could have crippled every cell tower in the nation's largest city. It could also, and this is important, have completely jammed the 911 calls. Chaos on this communications network would have disrupted communications over most of the New York metro area, and maybe further. Secret Service personnel, along with officers from multiple agencies, seized hundreds of servers and over 100,000 cell phone SIM cards around New York. Enough equipment to send 30 million anonymous texts every minute. They found empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions of phone calls in and around New York City. This week, as we told you, that number expanded to 100,000 plus in Jersey. Now, the Secret Service is still trying to figure out a motive and whether or not there was a specific target. And it also isn't clear whether that equipment was supposed to be triggered during the UN General Assembly, which took place during the last full week of September. So far, they made no arrests. They did mention the forensic examination is underway, and that will indicate whether cellular communication between foreign actors and individuals who are known to law enforcement. If China is indeed implicated, the motive would be absolutely clear. The disruption of communications, the flow of information, private people, business, government, over most of the nation's largest city. So far, the Secret Service leading the investigation has not yet named China as the foreign actor, but it is very hard to see any other nation coming across in that role. China certainly has the capability to do this. We know there are thousands, in fact, likely millions of Chinese nationals in this country legally and illegally. We know China took advantage of the Biden admin's non-enforcement of the borders, sent a lot of Chinese nationals illegally here into the U.S., and China certainly has the technological capacity to do an operation like this and has the people who could carry it out. We shall see. The investigation is ongoing, and it ain't looking good for China. Typical. Typical, typical. Hey. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. I'm just telling you. Is being insanely stupid actually a very cunning Democratic strategy? You think? I think I'm going to form a hip-hop group. We're going to call it the Fat Generals. I want to be the human beatbox. That is, of course, a ridiculous idea. But you know how it differs from the nonsense the Dems keep trying to sell us? The difference is that I don't mean it. I am not actually going to form a hip-hop group and call it the Fat Generals. Although if I did, I really would want to be the human beatbox. The Democrats, however, are serious about the ridiculous stuff they say they put into effect in policy. In fact, they are positively solemn when they explain that it's good for generals to be fat. And Trump is Hitler too, the quickening. And the dudes can totally get preggy. Oh yeah, of course, guys can get pregnant. And they tell us that with a straight face. Look, nobody expects less from the Democrats. They're cuckold, curious former Republican fellow travelers than me. You can literally not expect any less from them. It's been proven scientifically impossible. Yet, even I had to pause, scratch my head, scan it for some sarcasm. It's clean, no sarcasm detected. Sam Stein, who is some sort of poobah at the Dispatch Work Project outlets, tweeted with Margaret Dumont levels of fussy outrage that Hegseth fat-shamed the general. Now, people, he did this on purpose. If he were trying to be funny, it would have been only mildly amusing. But he wasn't. When you join up with these groups, you agree to certain mandatory restrictions, like not having a sense of humor, not being allowed within 1,000 feet of an elementary school. No, this guy was absolutely serious. He was mad that Pete Hegseth confronted the brass with his anti-fat-assery agenda. And so were the rest of his commie friends. He and his Democratic dominatrix were coming down foursquare in favor of the U.S. military, replacing Blitzkrieg with Pritzerkrieg. And they didn't just do that with a straight face. Super sour, serious faces, like the kind you see on MSNBC. During their daily announcement, today, once again, Trump has finally crossed over the line into the Third Reich territory with his shameless doing of things that he promised to do before winning the last election. Well, I never. You know, it's no wonder normal people like you and I look at these Democrats and wonder if they say insane things on purpose. Or is this some strategy that we lesser beings just can't comprehend? It involves the use of incomprehensibly stupid assertions to crowbar open the Overton window. You gotta wonder, do they actually believe this stuff? Or are they simply saying things that keep their sociopathic left-wing mutant allies from killing them? In fact, some of those consultant-driven mini videos they're all tweeting now, why do they all hold the lapel mic in their hand in front of their face? As if it were some cup of espresso in a continental cafe. These look more like hostage videos. Why, yes, we need a lumbering Yeti with its member and its two buddies swinging from the yardarm in the teenage girl's locker room. Because Rosa Parks would have wanted it that way. Eyes darting off camera to the frowning, blue-haired 23-year-old gender studies major, supervising them with a ring through her nose. They're already in failure status. Look, when you go Nazi, you have a rhetorical problem. You cannot go any further. You can't do worse. You are at max epithet, or as celebrated by the wine women heartthrob, Captain Lib Court Jester Ta-Nehisi Coates, max epitaph. You are not going to out Hitler. There's no guy out there who Hitler would say, wow, I'd sure hate to be compared to him because he really sucks. But you can't go backwards. There's no retreat. Because the guy is Hitler. It's not like Hitler got his good points to be emphasized during your walk back. So you're stuck. You cross the rhetorical event horizon. Once you go Hitler, you can't do more and you can't do less. You are stuck with De Fuhrer on an endless loop. And they just won't quit. And it's not just politicians. Academics at Harvard, after everything that's going on with the Republican Party in power, trying to pillage academia for foregoing academics in favor of commie insanity, they decide to hire a new professor. We told you about it yesterday. Lahore Vagistan, remember? Apparently going to teach a course in what, I don't remember. But we're pretty safe to assume it's not particle physics. When not only a major political party is coming down on you, but the society is coming down on you for abandoning your job, actively undermining the culture we all share, probably it's not the smartest course of action. You might consider rethinking your position. Maybe, hiring a few conservatives to show you're even-handed. Put the kibosh on Looney Tunes faculty. But no. Now let's find some pervert and put it out there front and center. That'll show you knuckle-dragging normals a thing or two. Institutions cannot be reformed. Well, it's good to know. Now, your institution must be destroyed. The left is just waking up to the fact that we no longer respect their institutions. They thought they could feed like maggots off the corpse of the institutions they killed and gutted and wore like skin suits, skinwalkers. But we noticed these institutions didn't give a shit about us. And so We stopped caring about them. The failures of our enemies is actually our opportunities. We just have to make the most of it. And now the Republicans, burdened by the fact that our party includes Republicans, but lately we've been doing well by focusing on things that normal people get. They understand. Dudes cannot get pregnant. Trump is not Hitler. And no, generals should not be fat. Maryland. More crazy I have the bad echo muffle sound on Rumble, but on X it's perfect. I like watching here because it doesn't have the comments, but it's maddening. Technology is not my friend. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell is going on with Rumble. I keep dealing with their folks and not necessarily being entirely helpful. Oh, man, this itchy nose is driving me absolutely nuts today. Hey, the Biden judge is back. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of them. But this one in particular, guess what? He gives the Kavanaugh assassin, or the would-be Kavanaugh assassin, a light sentence as left-wing violence continues to skyrocket. Prosecutors wanted Boardman to sentence Rosk to no less than 30 years to life imprisonment for his plot against Kavanaugh. 8 years in prison. That is apparently what the near assassination of a Supreme Court justice is going for these days at the hands of a leftist judge. On Friday, this idiot U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman of Maryland handed down a mere 8-year sentence to the man who, by the way, is now insisting he's a woman, who showed up at a conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh's Maryland home with a Glock 17 pistol, ammunition, lockpicks, duct tape, pepper spray, and other burglary tools, and obviously had murder on his mind. Nicholas Rosk, who, by the way, now goes by the name Sophie, would have tried to carry out his deadly errand if he hadn't spotted U.S. Marshals outside the justice's house. That's what he told investigators. This California resident, who was 26 at the time, had hoped to kill 3 of the High Court's conservative justices in producing the sway and the balance of power back to liberals. He told investigators he was outraged after a leaked draft opinion indicated the majority was about to turn over Roe Wade, which would end federal protection of abortion. The defendant's objective was to target and kill judges to seek to alter the court's ruling. Prosecutors had recommended Boardman following federal sentence guidelines and sentence Rosk to no fewer than 30 years to life imprisonment. The Biden-nominated judge decided to lean closer to the defense's more lenient recommendations Delivering her sentence, Boardman followed the left's pronoun guide in referring to the assassin. Listen to this, the words of the actual judge. Though she got far too close to executing her plans, the fact of the matter is she abandoned them. The judge took into account appeals from Ross's family, his apology to the Kavanaugh family, and the fact that the convict surrendered without incident and cooperated with local law enforcement officials. 8 freaking years. That's it. Unbelievable. Portland, Antifa, more messes, more unbelievable video that show Portland police letting Antifa militants go free, run away. And what do they do then? They turn around and arrest the journalists covering the story. Portland police are protecting violent leftists, Antifa, while ignoring or punishing the victims of their violence. Arresting victims of Antifa and journalists who report on Antifa behavior apparently seems to be a pattern for the Portland police. Independent journalist Nick Sorter says the Portland police arrested him Thursday night on charges of disorderly conduct. Antifa militants surrounded and attacked him for taking unflattering videos of them. Friday morning, the Portland police released a statement about the arrest that gives no details about the altercation. Here it is. About 11:16 p.m., the rapid response team moved in and arrested 3 people, were arrested and all booked into the Multnomah County Detention Center on charges of disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree. Angela David, 49, of Veronica, Oregon, Nicholas Sorter, 27, of Washington, D.C., and Son Mi Yi, 43, of Portland. The morning of October 3rd, Malugan also posted a video of a female protester wailing after federal agents maced her. She says Portland police then took witness statements to investigate potential wrongdoing by the federal agents rather than targeting the protesters at federal facilities that have been under violent attacks for the last 5 years. The crew recorded Sorter taking a flaming U.S. flag from a protester's hands and stomping out the flames while onlookers taunted him. Take a look.
We got a Trump supporter. We got a Trump supporter right here.
Oh, he's putting it on the ground and he's making it worse. And now he's standing on it.
Motherfucker.
Now he's standing on it. You're not supposed to stand on it. Oh, now I think he's saving it.
Unfreaking believable. Protesters got agitated. That was Nick Sorter right there, as you saw in the video. That he was recording them on a public street, perfectly legal to do, threatening violence in retaliation for his reporting. The police watched this threat going on from across the street. And you know what they did? Abso-freaking-lutely nothing. Sorter reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi called him to say she ordered an investigation into the Portland Police Bureau over his arrest. And earlier this week, the Post-Millennial reporting, Katie Daviscourt got a black eye reported in Portland after a protester whacked her in the face with a flagpole. The police response? Pathetic. After being injured, she kept recording. No police immediately intervened. Protesters continued shouting, swinging flagpoles. Nearby, a man grabbed a Palestinian flag out of the hand of a protester. Small crowd surrounded him, whacked him, poked him with sticks, threw water on him, and put a stick in his face, using it to flip off his hat. Daviscourt followed the masked female who assaulted her and got the attention of a uniformed Portland Police liaison officer, asking him to arrest her. The officer, who had on a bulletproof vest, a bunch of police gear, strapped to his waist and his leg, calmly walked behind the suspect on the sidewalk, eventually caught up to her. For a moment, put his hand on her large, heavy backpack, and then just let her walk away. In fact, I showed you that video yesterday. When is this crap going to stop? When? All right. One more for you before we get out of here. You ever have trouble parking? I mean, it happens. You're in a parking garage. You're trying to fit into the space. You're in between two cars. It makes it kind of tough. Well, this guy, who really has no other people parked around him, is doing everything he can to make sure his U-Haul is, parked. Unfortunately, and there's no sound on this video, as you watch almost 2 minutes of this idiot trying to park this U-Haul van, it just gets worse and worse and worse. He backs out and he pulls forward again. And he's not making it because the truck is too high. And the pipes for what looks like the sprinkler system, which you can see now right there, they finally managed to set off the sprinklers. And he still won't stop. And he still keeps going. And like I said, it just keeps going and gets worse the longer you watch it. Boom. Hell. Okay, we're done. We're out of here. Thank you for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow for the Tuesday edition. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and thanks for popping by.